Everybody. So firstly, thank you ever so much to Vanessa for inviting me. Actually, Vanessa was at an event I ran in March for International Women's Day, and we had a chat afterwards, didn't we? And I think off the back of that event that was run at Beckenham Mansion, she asked me if I'd come along tonight, and I was delighted to, so I'm glad I'm here, and thank you for coming out tonight to see us. It's been a really great evening. Speakers are fantastic, learnt loads of new information. And coincidentally, when I met Louise was like, "Hi again, I've seen you semi-naked." I was like, "That's strange." And I've had a massage from, she didn't say that, she's very professional. She didn't say that, but that's how I felt when Louise said, "Oh, we have had a massage." I didn't actually recognise Louise because when, have we got that bit on video? Because when I did have my massage from Louise, which was fantastic by the way, it was in one of the gaps in the pandemic when we was able to see other people, but we were both wearing masks. So I have met Louise before, and her massages are great. So back to Successful Mums, and I know a few of you in the audience already, and we've got some of our lovely Successful Mum grads in here as well. So when I had my children, I had Daniel 11 years ago, I identified a gap to support women back to work. I would be in the playground and these women were saying to me, "Jane, I'm just a mum." And what really got me, everybody, is that just a mum. I mean, for those of you in the room that are parents or carers, whether you've cared for an elderly person, a disabled person, or you are a parent to children, it's a really tough job. It's the hardest job in the world. And my viewpoint was, my goodness me, you want to embrace the fact that you're a parent or a carer, and all the new skills that you've learned, you need to be showcasing that on your CV and also when you speak to an employer. So I'm really pleased that there is a sea change. It's taken a long time and we're not quite there yet, but there are lots more of employers that are embracing the skills that we have as parents. So when I had Daniel, I decided as a teacher and career advisor, I wanted to set up an organisation to support mums back to work. And I didn't want women to have to pay for this. So I worked probably for about 2 years for free, and I sort of went around South London doing free career advice based on my knowledge and based on this gap and my network to what I would call family-friendly employers. And it seemed quite a simple model to me. I could support these women with the career advice they might require, the confidence skills, reminding them of the transferable skills they had as a parent, and then they would come on this journey with me, and then I would link them with an employer. And I didn't charge the employer because I wanted the employer to take on these women. And I did this for quite a while, and then my husband said to me, "Jane, are you going to contribute to the mortgage and the bills?" So I wrote so many letters to people basically begging for funding, and by that point I had evidence that there was a real demand, because I think you can go to somebody and say, "Can you give me some funding?" But they will say, why should I give you any funding? So I was able to say, I've got a waiting list of women here that want to come onto my courses. Here is the demand. If we don't support these women, they're at risk of not using their skill set. And believe me, I can still remember a barrister that I coached, and she said to me, "Jane, I've got nothing to offer." And when a barrister says that to you, you just think, what is happening here? But what it does make you realise is that we are all human, regardless of your status, your financial, your education, your background. We're all human, and when you have a baby, in my experience, and supporting now 7,000 mums, and my original goal was just to support 100 mums, I know you have a baby and you can lose your mojo, and you can't quite place it, but there's, it's wonderful, isn't it? You have this lovely human being, but at the same time, you're not as important anymore, and you can start to lose your mojo. So I wanted to get all of these women, I wanted to help them get their mojo back, and there's various techniques we use. We now run accredited training, which, as Vanessa said, is free, and I can tell you about that in a minute. But what I would like to just ask a question, the transferable skills from being a mum that we can take into business or into the workplace, let's think of 10. I'm going to start with one, which is, I've got 2 children now, so conflict management. My conflict management skills are so much better than they used to be. Can we think of 9 others, please? Listening, absolutely. Multitasking. Planning. Coping under pressure, absolutely. Negotiation, definitely all the time. Logistics, yeah, taxi driver. Any others? Communication. Really, we're mentors, we're teachers, we're counsellors, depending on the the chapter that I suppose we're going through and our children are going through. What about event management? I have sorted out so many birthday parties where the parent is happy, the child is happy, there's no peanuts, all of that. I mean, it doesn't just happen like that, does it? Blue sky thinking, mummy, I'm bored, da-da. There's a robot made out of cereal packets. It's relentless, and I think because typically as a parent or carer we do this day in, day out, and we just do it because we don't have a choice, and for 96% of the time we love it. So we just do it. And what I wanted to mention tonight is that all of that work that you're doing day in and day out, it is so valuable. So don't think that you're just a mum. Think, wow, my continual professional development since having a career break has peaked because we are learning so many new skills. I mean, something else to add to the transferable skills is networking. We're probably networking and socialising with different types of people. There's just so many transferable skills, so don't underestimate those and make sure they go on your CV. I'm not suggesting that you put on your CV mummy to Daniel and Anna and put photographs on there and this was the first tooth and the first hair, but I think from a professional standpoint, say that you're a parent, don't hide it. I mean, I think it's for me, and I work for myself now, I've got my business Successful Mums, but if I was to go back to work, if an employer didn't want to know about my children or didn't discuss or didn't accept that as part of me, I don't know if I'd want to work for that employer. So, and there is a shift, and as I touched on, it is gradual, but I think more employers are recognising the skills we have that we can bring into the workplace. So the transferable skills are absolutely key. So in terms of the courses that we run, we are almost a school for mums. We are subject to Ofsted. So the training that we offer, it's gone from me delivering career coaching just based on my experience of being a career advisor to having a more structured, but we're still really friendly and approachable organisation. So we provide free career coaching. I'm very lucky with those letters I wrote and that evidence I was able to prove. The London Mayor now funds all of our courses. So if you are a woman that is either unemployed or is earning less than the London living wage, then the courses are absolutely free. We can offer career coaching, business coaching, we run digital courses, we run IT courses, and due to demand, we've just started running autism awareness courses. And really, I mean, that's off the back of a lot of women that want to pivot and change career, want to go into special needs, either through personal reasons or just because that's where their values sit. And there is such a demand in that industry, so we could really see that autism training is something women will benefit from after doing our Back to Work course. So they could do our career coaching or our Back to Work course, and then they could progress onto an autism course, which would then enable them to go into that industry. And there's so many different careers. Don't think just because you've worked in banking for 25 years, for example, that you can't do something else. I'm working with lots of employers, and MediaCom actually is one. I don't know if you've heard of MediaCom. Some of you might be aware, really big advertising agency. Refreshingly, the last time I had a conversation with them, they said to me, we don't necessarily want people with advertising or marketing or branding background, we want different people, so they bring new ideas to the table. So that's just one example of employers thinking differently. We're working with St James's Place, where they're taking women through a financial planning, new career opportunity. There's a huge amount of new careers available in the digital landscape, in health and social care, in early years. We train lots of people to become teachers and career advisors and also assessors. In fact, we've got quite a few vacancies working at Successful Mums and also in other organisations on our job board. We're not recruitment, but it just made absolute sense that if I'm a training organisation, I want to encourage employers to take on, women. So we have a free job board where local employers will advertise their role as long as it's flexible, and then CVs can go straight to these employers, to increase the amount of flexible roles that are available. So, so really, I suppose it's not necessarily directly linked to well-being, but a lot of what we do is around confidence and self-esteem and how we should feel as parents when we go back to work. And over the last, 8 or 9 years, I've gone grey, and that's why I wear a hat. And aside of that, I've collected so much intelligence in terms of why these women want to come to us to get support. And the top 3 barriers for women wanting to return to work, but they're not sure where to start, is career advice, confidence, and childcare. So it's the 3 C's. And I've made sure that all of the training we offer, in addition to sort of the fundamental employment or business or digital or autism or whatever course we're running, it's packed with confidence advice, career advice, ideas for childcare in terms of free accessible childcare, different ways you can sort of manage your childcare, whether that's hybrid working or... So we also link you with flexible friendly employers. We talk about the perimenopause and the menopause, so there's a real link there. We also provide personal styling, because one of the other sort of data capture that I'm able to have access to from asking these 7,000 women, what is the biggest barrier, is styling. So often these women will say, I'm going for an interview, Jane, but I've got my interview suit, doesn't fit me anymore, I don't know what to wear, or I've lost weight since having a baby, or I've gained weight since having a baby, I don't know what clothes to wear, I haven't been shopping for years. So we provide personal styling, we provide information on domestic violence, we provide information on counselling. So the fundamental message about what we do is around finding you either a job you love, a new career, or to support you to start a business or develop a business, but it's really padded out with all the woman stuff. Like typically if you pick up a woman's magazine, what they talk about. And I think that's what's made us different as a training company, is that we want to make sure it's really reaching out and hitting all the points. And the other great thing is you're mixing with a group of like-minded women. So at the moment, all of our courses are online, but there's weekly webinars as well. And I think just that connection with other women, because I can still, I can picture it before the pandemic. There was a group of about 20 women in the room, and there was a teacher and a nurse that had a career break, and they said in front of everybody else, I've just lost my confidence. And I can remember another mum that said, what, a teacher and a nurse, they've lost their confidence. Why? They're teachers and nurses. I was like, hello, they're human beings as well. So there's this real... for some of the mums we work with, it's just me, I feel really isolated, I don't know where to turn. And if that's just going round and round in your head, it doesn't do you any good, does it? So if then you speak to other mums, you can help other women as well. I mean, I haven't got all the answers, but what we can do is bring these women together. They have a WhatsApp group, they meet on webinars. A lot of the mums that we have supported in the last 8 years still actually keep in contact with each other. And I know that we've got a successful mum in the room. By chance, we did recognise each other. And I know that you keep in touch with people from the group, don't you? So the Back to Work course, we cover things like CV support, LinkedIn profile. We also look at where all the recruitment agencies, and there's lots of them that offer flexible and part-time working. We also cover things like how you present yourself at an interview. So your pitch, one of the key things that people get scared of at an interview is when the employer says, tell me about yourself, Jane. And we should know, shouldn't we, more than anybody else? But in fact, we go, and we don't know what to say. So if you think about you're going for an interview, think of 4 things for your pitch. You want to do 1, your name. Hopefully we'll remember that one. So your name, your 3 top transferable skills that you have from being a parent, because I think you're straight in there then to say these are the skills I have, and you're being proud about you being a parent. So it might be, my name's Jane, my top 3 skills in the last year, for example, I'm organised, I'm creative, and I'm patient. The last one's always ironic, isn't it, when you have children and you're more patient. And then something about your experience. So I've got 20 years working in the education industry. And then lastly, something about you. So, I do quite a lot of running for the Evelina Children's Hospital. Some of you might know that hospital, it's fantastic. And that 4th one, it just makes you real. And then often an employer will want to pick up on that first as an icebreaker. And so those 4 things, it's only something simple, But those sort of strategies, if somebody else can help you with that, just makes your life easier, doesn't it? And then that will help you moving forward. And we encourage our mums to then share that information with other mums. I don't want to hold it all to successful mums. The more women we can support, the better, because that's how life should work. And the confidence piece is the top one. You lose your mojo. So we encourage people to always wear their invisible crown. So some of you might already have your crowns on tonight, because if you're wearing your crown, you're more likely to have better posture. I can see if you shift, and your shoulders are back, you've got your crown on your head. So whenever you feel, and I use this a lot myself, whenever you might feel a bit nervous, put your crown on. Nobody needs to see it, but you know it's there, because it's an invisible crown you know about. And then automatically, if you've got your crown on your head, then you walk better, your posture is better. You're actually giving a sign that you're walking in a more, not arrogant, but in a more confident, relaxed way. And that then just gives really good vibes and good signals to your brain. And in turn, that is just a really positive thing. And I still have women that come up to me, if I'm, or wherever I am, and say, "Hi, I've got my crown on. Can you see it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can feel it. I know it's there." So if you don't already, always wear your invisible crown. And there's some fantastic TED Talks out there. Some of you might know Amy Cudden, I think her name is, and she does a fantastic talk called Fake It Till You Make It. And I don't really like the idea of sort of faking things, but what she talks about is your Wonder Woman stance. So people before an interview, some of you might know this TED Talk, people before an interview, prior to an interview, like stood in the Wonder Woman stance like this, were more likely to go on and get the job, because there's something mentally that sort of gives you that, I'm going to do this. And a bit like the crown, it's a positive shift and a positive thing to do. So I encourage everybody I meet to wear their invisible crown. And I've got a lovely frame down here. I've got quite a few of these actually. My poor team. Oh, so there's 12 of us now in the team. When I first started, obviously it was just me for a long time. And those 7,000 people, I haven't supported those all myself, my great team have. But I think it's important to always wear your invisible crown. I've got a lot of these around the house. And every now and again, my husband just takes them down or turns them around. I think he's had enough of it, really, actually. Right, let me just put that down there. So does that all make sense, what I've talked about? I mean, I think it's quite a simple model. We help mums back to work, and we do that not as an academic training company. I mean, what we do, they are qualifications, they are off-qual, but when I say they're not academic, what I mean is they are just padded with so much great stuff for mums and for women. So I think my message tonight is always wear your invisible crown. If you want a new career, if you want to start a business, the business courses we run are around business development, business planning. We do a lot of digital training and social media training. We can connect you with mentors. We can showcase and promote what you do. And if you get a chance, follow us on Insta and on our website. We've got hundreds of case studies, and we call them success stories, all different, and they're all showcasing individual personal success, because everybody's journey is individual, and it's really important. I mean, you know this, just stay in your own lane. Don't worry about what other people are doing, because whatever chapter you're in at the moment, it's the right chapter. And when you have children, in my experience, you're in a different chapter. So stay in that chapter for as long as you want to, and then when you want to step out and do something else, you can do it then. But whatever you do, stay in your own lane, and keep wearing your invisible crown.